Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom, vroom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I gotta gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my low, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and they dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't relate but like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom, vroom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones are doubting, I dare the show. So way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shooting this brace, I'm going in a new gear, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit that I'm going. Just how I'm doing this shit that I'm going. Ayy, just how I'm doing this shit that I'm going.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And your boy needs a fade, guys. Your boy needs a fade. But, guys, welcome back to another Frankie Candles live stream as Bitcoin kind of bing-bongs around underneath our key level of resistance that we looked at yesterday. The question is, what is the next move on Bitcoin? Are we going to be able to continue this move to the upside? And as we push into that key level, you guys know yesterday between about $117,200 all the way up to about $118,300 is a major level of resistance. But with major resistance comes a doorway to potentially all-time highs. I'm going to talk about if we're going to be able to break above this key level of resistance or if we're going to put in another macro lower high before a lower low. I'm going to cover the bullish case, the bearish case. I'm going to let you guys know which way I'm leaning. We'll show some of the trades, and we'll give you guys an overall update here on what we're expecting next on Bitcoin. So shout out to the CandleMafia, and guys, real quick before we start, shout out to Golden giving us those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Unbelievable. Before the live stream even starts, Golden starts gifting those memberships. Shout out to Golden, bro. We appreciate you more than you could literally possibly fathom, bro. Shout out to Golden. Drop that golden emoji in the chat if you guys got a free membership while you were sitting in the waiting room. Let's go. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you so much. I don't know. Hey, if you need the kidney, bro, let me know. I got your back. Let's see. Yeah, Satoshi Stacker dropping those golden emojis. We got Jesse in the chat. Shout out to Jesse. Welcome in. Gen Z in the chat. What is going on? We got M. Floyd in the chat. Said, woo! Let's go, baby. We're on one, guys. And I would say it's going to be a short stream, but if you guys tuned into yesterday's 5-hour stream, there's probably a pretty low chance of that. And I already went super long on the premium live stream today. I don't know why I can't just get off the live stream today, guys. I would say I am cooked today from that 5-hour live stream yesterday, and I would say today's going to be a short stream, but I'm not even going to say that, guys, because I don't know. I have a suspicious feeling that I'm going to get stuck here doing another long live stream just because I can't leave, guys. I can't leave the Mafia. But we got Captain Kirk in the chat, Rob the Crypto Snob, Tyler Durden, Darren Does Things. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. Let's see. Yo, chat going nuts today. Golden hyping up the chat before the live stream. We got Keith in the chat, said BTC pulling back a bit now. Yeah, we're going to cover everything for you guys. Let's see. We got Mortimer Duke. Welcome in, bro. Satoshi Stacker, Nirvana. We got everybody in the chat today. We got NA says Ethereum is going bananas. Yes, we will cover Ethereum. We did break above that key level that we needed to get above to see those higher prices, guys. And we have a pretty big ETH update today as well, so stick around for Ethereum because we are not only breaking out of a local level of resistance, but we're also testing that major $4,000 resistance level that has held us back for so long. Are we about to go into all-time highs? We also have dominance potentially starting to break down out of our volume profile. We got a lot to look at, and shout out to Lot in the chat, said LFG Frankie, let's go, baby, let's go. All right, we got an exciting stream for you guys today, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys, on the Bitcoin chart, which is typically where we look at Bitcoin. Funny story before I start here, guys. I found a long position on a sub account last night. I opened up a new account, or not a new account, but I opened up an account I hadn't checked on in a little bit. And I was holding a long position, and it is in profit. Don't do what I do, guys. Do as I preach, not as I do. I don't know. I have so many accounts, guys, that sometimes I lose track. This is something that happens to me ever since I've had my YouTube channel. It's kind of hard. I have so many accounts. I have so much going on. Sometimes I forget positions are open. Low key, I'm like 7 for 7. The last time, every time this has happened, I've gotten really lucky that the positions have been in profit. So I will break that down for you guys as well. I am technically holding 2 long positions here. I'm not going to be able to show it because I'm going to have to like re-log into the sub account. But I am now, obviously, you guys know we did take that long position over here on Tuesday. We had the long setup from the low here on our structural support down here at about $112,000. That key level that we have been looking at for so long to get this breakdown of the range and the retest. But I did not catch that position over the weekend. I was not on the charts, but I did catch it with the premium Discord here. We had another setup for the bullish retest of the Golden Pocket 786 that has played out. This is literally the line that we drew for that setup before we even got the drop down, and it is following our line perfectly. Are we going to hit that final TP? Well, I guess we're going to have to see. We're going to have to break above our biggest level of resistance that we still have ahead of us. I'm going to break down exactly what I'll be looking for up there with you guys. But I am pretty much holding 2 positions. I did not realize it's almost the same exact size, too. So I do have 2 long positions open from down here. Again, do not do that. I'm not bragging about that. I'm actually embarrassed to say it. Although, yay money. Absolutely goon move, though. But anyway, continuing on here, guys. Still holding that long position. Profits, or both those long positions. Profits locked in now on both of them. I locked in profits on that, phantom position last night. So both positions locked in. Stop losses to break even. And I am still holding this over here on Blowfin. Still kind of sitting where we were yesterday. Got about 760 locked in. $1,400 unrealized times 2 with that other position that I have open on another account. But the question is here, guys, as recently we have been looking at that lower volume profile / structural support here at $112,000. This drop was absolutely not only expected, or not unexpected, but very much expected based off our money flow on the 4-hour time frame. I'm not going to cover that today because I've covered it so many times, but very clear indications on the chart here if you guys watch the live stream that we would get a breakdown of this range, but we were watching those very key levels of support because my overall bias has been here, guys, that we did get that breakout of our previous volume profile with nice volume, nice follow through, and this could be the start of the end, kind of. I was saying that as a joke, but it is actually kind of true. But we'll get to that in a minute. But we got that nice big breakout. We were okay with some kind of correction to come in here to either retest these structure highs here. This was the highest level that we were looking at, coming off of this wick high here at about 112K. Breakout, retest the structure before putting in a higher low, and potentially continuing up to higher prices. We'll talk about the probability here of breaking above our major level of resistance that we looked at yesterday. And yeah, that's going to be like a big focus of the live stream today, guys, because we still do have major resistance above. But we got that nice bounce, and I do just want to be very clear here, guys, as we rejected our the beginning of our major zone of resistance yesterday. As you guys know, we were looking here between the value area low. We had a lot of confluence here, right? We had the value area low. We had the anchored VWAP, which was tested pretty much to the absolute tick. And then, pretty much riding all the way up to the POC at about $118,300. This is our major level of resistance. We do have daily, weekly, and monthly MPOCs up in there as well. So you can see all that confluence, value area low, weekly MPOC, monthly MPOC, point of control of the range, daily MPOC, and the anchored VWAP. And to add, not insult to injury, but just to add to that confluence here, guys, we did have the Golden Pocket 786. Right, so this 786 is potentially, right, because this, I'm going to take the Golden Pocket off the chart because we ran through it, but, this 786, can we put the lower high in here, right? I'll break down the lower time frames, but at the end of the day, this is a 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? So I just to be aware, right, we separated this into 2 zones, right? We had the weekly MPOC, the value area low, the 786. That was kind of zone number 1. Zone number 2 was sitting up here between the daily MPOC, monthly MPOC, and the point of control of the range. So this is obviously a large zone between 107.2 about all the way up to 118.3, but separated into 2 little separate zones here. I would still say the biggest level on the chart is going to be that $118,300 level. But as you can see, first level did wind up holding up. I mean, massive confluence here, guys. Very unlikely that we were not going to get some kind of a drop to the downside here. Now, the question of, is this the lower high before potentially putting in a lower low? Because remember, guys, even if we have to, and I hope this is not the case, I will give you the bullish case here. There is a possibility of flipping that $118,000 level, and at that point, I probably will be looking for pretty much all-time highs, which would be very, very nice to see. But we can't forget, right, that, how big of a resistance level this is. And when we look at that 12-hour money flow, guys, we looked at this yesterday, it was trying to creep up. I am somewhat on money flow fake out watch here. But at the end of the day, this is still generally trending down, so we do have to keep this in mind. And when we reject a 786 like this, it could potentially mean high, low, lower high, lower low. So this is in the cards. But if this does happen, right, this is not, step on my higher time frame bias. If we did have to come back down for a bigger retracement, this would absolutely, whether we have to come down from here or retest the bigger level of resistance before putting it in, this would be very brutal for a lot of people to endure. But at the end of the day, guys, until we start losing like that $108,000 to $107,000 level, we could still be in that kind of situation of getting the initial breakout, retesting some key structure before popping back to all-time highs. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with it coming back down, but I just wanted to point out with the 12-hour money flow coming out, there is definitely somewhat of a possibility of that happening, and I will be aware of it and prepared to capitalize on it if we can catch some short positions up here. And I will break down the lower time frames. We'll talk about interacting with these levels and the possibility of breaking to the upside. But, you know, we have to keep in mind this money flow. When you take a look at the 10-hour as well, that 10 hour is trying to come back up. But you can see we are getting a little bit of a rejection here at the 0 line with a red dot about to print on the 10, or is printing on the 10-hour as well. So we do have to be a bit careful here. And I would say the lower low is still in the cards. But, you know, long term, this would just mean that we have to wait a little longer. And, you know, again, from a higher time frame perspective, let me pull up a clean chart here. From a higher time frame perspective, right, if we did have to pull back to a much lower level, right, it could still be, right, if I pull from the low here at 98,182, this is something we've been looking at many a times on the live stream. You know, even if we did have to, you know, come in, lower high, lower low, right, and then push into these Fibonacci levels, it could still be a good place to retest before higher prices. This would not invalidate the fact that I do think we're coming into the final stages of the bull market. We do have potential rate cuts coming down the line, right? Those predictions are still somewhat healthy at about 89.4% of the rate cuts in September. This is what we will need for alt season, in my own personal opinion. If they do not cut rates in September, guys, this will likely step on alt season, either postpone it, who knows, maybe cancel it, but that is not my base case. If they do cut rates, I will expect alt season to come in here. And when we start taking a look at dominance, when we start taking a look at some of the alt charts, it does look to all be lining up almost perfectly. So, you know, worst case scenario, if we do have to endure that bigger drop down, just understand 108 to 107K is kind of the lowest I would like price to go, because once we start losing that $108 to $107,000 level, we will be coming back down to retest. We will be coming back down to retest this value area high 786. Once you lose that, guys, and I will bring this up on this chart just so I can get the actual accurate levels. You know, if we pull up that macro volume profile, the macro value area high is sitting there at about 105,730, which is very close to the 786 Fibonacci retracement. And from a Fibonacci perspective, guys, the line in the sand for lower prices is the 786. I just hope we don't have to deal with that, right? Because I've said this many a times, if we do have to come back and retest this golden pocket, you really want to bounce from here, because if you go to the 786, you could get accepted into your volume profile, and then losing these levels, like I would be expecting lower prices. But we still have plenty of room to the downside. We have plenty of levels, but I do just want to harp on just like 118.3 is the key level of resistance to the upside to break us much higher. I would say that $107,000 to $108,000 zone is going to be a big line in the sand that I'm on watch to potentially see, you know, if we don't get the bounce, a potential bigger breakdown to lower prices. But I would still say long-term sentiment remains exactly the same here. And when we start looking at dominance and all that stuff, guys, it is starting to all kind of line up perfectly. It is insane. And hopefully if we go into alt season, we can be like, look, the charts are not crazy, guys. The charts actually work. And we do have a lot of really interesting things coming up on Bitcoin dominance. But let's jump in here a little bit lower time frame and talk about kind of what we're doing in here. Now, obviously, yesterday, as I mentioned earlier, we did push into that first level of resistance that I just had previously marked out. But basically what I'm looking for here, guys, is if we can get back up inside this volume profile, crack up above this anchored VWAP, which currently sits at about $117,500. This is the next big zone that I will be looking at for a short position. And I'm hoping, right, even if I see the confirmations, I will short that and hope it gets stopped out to just continue up. But I do want to, take the opportunity to potentially catch a move to the downside if we do push into this level. And again, major resistance. Monthly MPOC, point of control of the range, daily MPOC. So if we do come back up, I will be looking at a flip of the value area low. This is the pivotal moment, guys. If we get the rejection here, this could actually turn into a lower high for a much bigger drop to the downside. But on the flip side of that, I know that sounds bearish. I know people don't want to hear that. But, anytime you have a major level of resistance like this, the nice flip side of the coin is that if you can get above it, maybe we rip through this and maybe we just push right through it and flip it to support. Once we get above that daily MPOC, this is very likely, in my opinion, at that point, if we can hold this as support, we all know we have all this liquidity sitting above these previous highs above $120,000. We could see a squeeze to the upside. And hey, let's send it to all-time highs from there, right? We do have some other key levels of resistance that I will be careful around. Like I've mentioned in past streams, I will be looking for shorts up here. I would almost expect them to get stopped out. I will be taking very low risk positions, right? I will not be having huge stop losses or anything like that. They will be very low risk positions. But I would say 118.3, if we can get and hold above that level, guys, that is really where we want to get above in order to see new all-time highs to come in sooner than later. But, with that being said, it is major, major resistance. And hopefully, if we do come up there, we will probably cover the price action unless it happens over the weekend. If something crazy happens, I'll maybe go live or drop a market update or something. But that is where we're going to be looking at in the premium Discord to potentially look for the rejection. But, confirmations are going to be absolutely key here, because if we flip it, woo, baby, come take that liquidity above here, and then hopefully we can just short squeeze it to the upside. So nice to see the rejection off that first zone of resistance. It's Bitcoin trading very, very technically here. And just to give you an idea here, guys, we did get that 30-minute bearish divergence, right? You had the higher highs on your price action. This is the 24-minute. Let's pull out the 30-minute, right? You did have the lower highs on your momentum waves, which is what we were predicting, right? We were looking at this live on stream. I was in that scalp short position. I went live at like 2 p.m. yesterday and then wound up just rolling through to the 5:45 live stream. We were live for 5+ hours yesterday, guys. So I am cooked. Excuse if the energy is low today. I am absolutely fried. But we were looking at this, as that green dot was printing, we were saying, hey, if we can get that green dot to push us up, we might be able to print a bearish divergence. But what would that do for us? It would make us look for a crack of the high, which is why I was saying, this was a very low probability trade. And then what happened? I got stopped out literally as we were talking about it. So, but it was a small loss, right? And then that long continued to pay me out, or I guess I should say both longs wound up paying me out. So not too shabby, but that 30-minute bull did give us a little bit of a continuation down. But at this point, guys, if we're not going to reject from here, I will be looking up towards, $118,000 to $118,300. This is the biggest level on the chart. If we can flip it, send it to all-time highs, if we can get up there and get some confirmation for short positions, it could eventually turn into a much bigger swing trade. I will treat it as like a day trade at first, being very careful around the key level of support here at the value area low at 117.2. But if we could break down below there, it would look to me like a lower high would be potentially in the cards, looking for a crack of structure to the downside. Now, if we do, let's assume, right, whether we come down from here or we have to go up one more time before we go down, and let's just say we're not going to flip that level of support, right? The if this, then that would be. We do have key support down below as well. I would be okay, right? Let's say we continue down from where we are right now. I would be okay retesting this value area high, but this is going to be a doorway to lower prices, right? So I'm actually going to mark this out as doorway to lower prices, right? Because if we get accepted back into this value area high, right, this would very likely lead to a potential continuation to the downside. Potential continuation to the downside, looking for the POC, and then potentially at that point, right, once you get accepted into this range, you could look for the full fill of that volume profile. And the lower we come, right, once we lose that value area high, it is going to look a little bit more likely that we do have a high, a low, a lower high for a potential lower low to come into those bigger levels of support we have underneath us. Again, nothing really to be worried about. I know that looks super bearish. That looks like a super scary drop to the downside. And hey, probably will be a super scary drop to the downside, but higher time frame that would not really step on any of my longer term sentiment until we start losing about $105,750 at our macro value area high that I just brought up. So key level to the downside, $115,700. You do not want to get stuck underneath there. If we do, I will be anticipating a bigger drop. But again, whether that happens from this rejection here, or if we have to come up one more time and then reject back down, this is still going to be a very key level of resistance or support. And the reason for that is because it's an area of balance, right? Get stuck under the value area high, fill of the range is going to be much more probable, or at least, a move down to the POC. But in this case, because if we do reject there, it's going to look like that lower high is higher probability. I would be expecting a full fill of that range and potentially loss of that range into those lower levels. Does that make sense? I want to keep it nice and simple here. I don't want to cover every little nitty gritty. Look, guys, we have a 3-second, fib retracement right here. Whatever it is, I just want to cover those higher time frames with you guys and give you my overall anticipation. And the only reason I am still open to the potential lower high coming in is because of that 12-hour money flow, right? I think if you come up to 118.3 and flip that to support, right, at that point, it's probably going to look like that 12-hour money flow is going to give us the fake out. But this is very hard to predict. So I just have to take this at face value, which is obviously that we are trending down. And you have the VWAP rolling over as well. So like once you print that 12-hour red dot, I think we'll have a good idea whether this money flow is going to fake out or just cross into the red. So that's the bullish case and the bearish case. got to be careful with that 12-hour money flow. But to be honest with you guys, when we look at some of the lower time frames, right, you have your 4-hour money flow attempting to cross into the green here. So I would say like lower time frame, it still doesn't look that bad. But we just have to really keep an eye on that 12-hour money flow. The problem there is we have to wait and give it a little bit of time. The 12 hours is a pretty high time frame, so it does take a little bit of time for the money flow to develop there. So I'm going to jump into the chat really quickly with you guys, see if you have any questions. Let's see. I got real friends all over the world. Shout out to Jesse. That's how I feel, bro. Shout out to the CandleMafia, the best people on earth. Love you from Bangladesh. Shout out to Zanzan. I appreciate that, bro. Love back from the USA. Let's go. Shout out to Zanzan. I appreciate you for being here. Appreciate the sauce, Frankie. Shout out to CD. Let's get it, baby. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Got it. Shout out to Base Bailey. Said got it. No more zero. Shout out to Base Bailey. It's not going to zero, guys. Hopefully. Let's see. Frankie the GOAT, thank you for laying it down. Shout out to Jat Stacks. I appreciate you for being here, bro, and anytime. I'm just up here doing what I love, man. Absolutely blessed to spend time with you guys here every single day. And, blessed to have the TA play out as much as it does. Let's see. Shout out to Alan. Said, love you, Frankie. What is going on? Hey, guys, I appreciate the love in the chat. I really do. Why are we bullish on ETH? Well, shout out to Michael. Hey. Let's take a look at Ethereum real quick, guys, and I will come back and check in on Bitcoin, here and there as we go through the stream. I'll actually set an alert above here in case we push up, and then if we do wind up breaking this low, I do want to get notified, and chances of this happening on the stream are low just because when I stream, price usually goes sideways. But you do see like 4-hour VWAP coming up, money flow also trying to cook to the upside here as well. So I would say, there is a probability of coming up to this next level, which is the biggest level of resistance. I am not holding a short here, guys. I actually did, if you want to know, just for educational sauce here, I did take a short here off that first level of resistance. I wound up getting stopped out at break even. It's like they knew I was there. They're just like, hey, Frankie, hey, you thought you weren't a noob, bro? Boop, out of your position. But that's okay. Hopefully we continue up because I got stopped out of that. But, if we do continue back up, that's technically the next biggest level of resistance. Next key level of support, $115,713. Now, before we take a look at Ethereum, guys, actually, no, I'll take a look at Ethereum first, right? So let's go ahead and jump into Ethereum here really quickly. Obviously, cooking to the upside, guys. And what were we looking at yesterday on the live stream? Pretty much all day, we were looking at this 786 being the biggest line in the sand for a continuation to the upside. And you could just see here, guys, why was this a key level? Well, number one, it's just a Fibonacci golden pocket 786 retracement, and I walked you guys through this saying, we got the drop to the downside, we got the bounce. You do have to be on lower high watch, right? And if you are going to be on lower high watch, you're going to be looking between the golden pocket and the 786. We did get an initial rejection off that golden pocket, but then as we were reapproaching, we talked about how we don't expect that golden pocket to hold up as resistance the second time, right? When you're looking for a lower high, you're looking for that lower high to come in on the first tap of the golden pocket. Once you come back up and retest it, more often than not, you will see something like this where you just melt right through it. It doesn't mean that the lower high still can't come in because you still have that 786, but that 786 is the line in the sand. Once you get above that 786, what are you going to look for? You can then look for the break of structure to the upside, exactly what we looked at yesterday, the break of structure to the upside of this high, which is where the fib is pulled from the high to the low, break above that 786, the higher probability, if you hold that as support, which you guys can see here, we cracked right above that level, tested it as support, slipped it, held it, right to the upside, and what happens? You break that structure to the upside. We also covered the fact that, and I'll do the same thing I did on the premium Discord earlier, when we bring up this clean chart here, guys, this $4,000 level, when we break this down to very simple technical analysis, right? I'm just going to put it here on this, it's probably a daily level if I had to guess. I'll just pull up the weekly. It'll be a little easier to find, right? So I'll pull this weekly level up here. This $4,000 resistance, guys, has been absolutely brutal for Ethereum, right? We come up here. We get the rejection. We come back up, little rejection. We get this little failed auction where we attempted to break out. And then once you break down below, failed auction, back to the downside. We come back up, knocked back down, knocked back down, knocked back down. And now we are approaching this resistance level, guys, and starting to peek our head above it. Does this mean that we have to rip up from here? Not necessarily, but I will say, guys, and we're going to talk about it if we do get the bigger retracement on everything. I am bullish on Ethereum, right? If we get a bigger pullback, right, we have all our key levels. I'll bring up the other chart in a second. Like, even if we have to get a bigger retracement, higher lows and higher highs will be the anticipation for me personally. I will be looking at any dip as a buy the dip opportunity. Not that I'm looking to accumulate any more ETH. I already hold my ETH from lower, but If I were looking to buy ETH, I would be looking to buy the dips here for many specific reasons. Number one, I just want to show the importance of this level, guys. This is the major level that we've been rejected from many times. The more times you can tap that level, and I know this has happened over the span of years, but the more times you tap on that level, the more likely it is for someone to open the door and let you in, right? Now, not only is this just a structural level of resistance, but this is also our macro 786 Fibonacci retracement when pulled from the 2021 bull market high to the 2022 bear market low. This is the 786, which is also, just like the lower time frame fib I just showed you, going to be the doorway to higher prices. If you are going to get above this level and flip it to support, this is the level to break in order for me to personally anticipate all-time highs. How high can we go, Frankie? Is ETH going to 12K? Well, watch my Ethereum price prediction video that lives on the channel. You guys can check out my higher time frame predictions. But I'd be looking up in the 5,000s for, our first $5,800 would be like my first macro bull market target. We will have local levels to look at in the meantime. But not only is this structurally resistance, guys, it is also that macro 786. And if we take a look at Bitcoin here real quick, I will just hide actually, I'll just pull up the clean chart here. When we look at this, right, if we look at like what Bitcoin did in a very similar scenario, right, and what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to pull it up on log, right? We had this 786 pulled from the 2021 all-time high to the 2022 bear market low. That 786 on Bitcoin was really our line in the sand to get eventual all-time highs to come in. We come up, we rip above it, we play around with it a little bit, we slip it, but once you hold it as support, it is your doorway to higher prices. And I would say, if I were to draw what Ethereum looks like here, it was like, hey, we deviated below the low, we filled the range, we came back down. We filled the range, we came back down. And then eventually, right now, what we're doing is tapping it again. So I would say just similar to Bitcoin, as we saw that 786 flip to support to indicate new all-time highs, right? I would say that on the 786 on Ethereum, we're kind of sitting right here, tapping on that resistance level again. And if I pull up Ethereum, you can kind of see that, right? We got the 2021 bull market high, 2022 bear market low. Here's your volume profile. We broke in, we filled it, back down. We filled it, back down. And now we're tapping into that same exact level once again. So I would say, like, if we could get above these levels, guys, there is not much holding you back from all-time highs on Ethereum. And there is that Fibonacci extension level, next major target. Again, we will have local levels to look at, but $5,800 is going to be that first major Fibonacci extension level. So can we see this happen? Well, how could we identify if this is probable? Well, we could take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Right? What is Bitcoin dominance doing? We are playing around, guys, attempting to lose this value area low. This is big. Now, I want to be very clear. It does not necessarily mean that dominance has to break down on this candle and just start nuking right now. Because when we come back to 2021, like we've showed on almost every single live stream, when we get that drop to the value area low, I'll come on down to the daily time frame to make it a little bit more tangible here. You guys can see, right, that value area low can act as support even if you slip below it, right? We came down, rejection on the POC, bounce, bing bong, lost it, back in, lost it, back in, lost it, back in. This was very likely a turbulent time for altcoins. This will likely cause turbulence if we see the same thing happen. It looks like, yeah, I can't say it's going to play out exactly like this, but I would say, like, we kind of just started testing this. So we're kind of like right here. So don't be surprised, right, if you do have to see a little bit more turbulence on the altcoins if we're going to bing bong back and forth like this. But eventually, how would you identify if this range was going to break down? Well, very simply, you would look at your money flow. Money flow indicates the longer term trend every single time. And that means, right, when money flow is coming out here like it was on the daily, even though you get bounces to the upside, you are looking for the continuation of the trend down and the eventual breakdown of that range. Money flow indicated that on the daily. And if we pull up the 2-day, you could see shortly after we got the daily money flow crossover into the red, shortly after that, we did get the 2-day money flow crossover. So this might be the bigger signal to look at on the 2-day. And when we compare this to our current price action, you guys can see 2-day money flow, red dot is printing like we were looking at yesterday, potentially incoming red dot with money flow trending out. I mean, this is, I cannot guarantee that alt season is coming because of this, but, every other time that we've been on like, oh my God, anytime like alt season is like at the front of the news or like you see all the thumbnails and stuff, we always look at this dominance chart and we're like, well, hey, how likely is it based off the charts? Last time was back here in February, and what happened, right? We were approaching and reclaiming support on this value area low, and money flow is in the green, right? So you're not anticipating a massive drop to the downside. As a matter of fact, you're expecting a push up to your next highest probability target, which would be that point of control. right? But now we have lost that point of control, gotten our first expected drop to the downside, and this money flow is trending out. So again, just like in 2021, it doesn't mean that you can't kind of bing bong around here and it could cause turbulence for altcoins. But at the end of the day, if this continues to trend out, right, you would eventually anticipate the continuation of the downtrend and the breakdown of this range, which would very likely cause alt season once you start getting this to break down in a very big way. And it will look something like this. Like, you're going to know when you're finally breaking out of the value area low of this dominance chart, right? It's going to look very similar to this, right? Like, that's what you want. We don't care, right? These little, even on this first big drop down that we got, right? You're not expecting this to be alt season, right? But, you know, it could pump altcoins, which it did. But it's not until you really see the absolute collapse of dominance that you see that alt season come in. And when you start to pair this, right, with Ethereum approaching key levels of resistance, and there's even more on Ethereum I want to show you, which makes me feel very good. You know, I'll just bring it up right now. On top of everything, right, 2-day money flow still massively in the green. And when we take a look at these higher time frames, guys, weekly money flow crossing over into the green, which is a very, very high time frame bullish signal. Now, we do have the red dot coming, right? So I'm going to talk about potential corrections coming in again. But long term, this would make me more bullish on Ethereum, right? Weekly money flow crossover. You have the 6-day money flow crossover. You have the 5-day money flow crossing over into the green. If you want a big move up, this is what you want money flow to look like. Now, money flow indicates the overall trend, right? Not the ebbs and flows in the market. Green dots and red dots indicate the ebbs and flows. Green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot. Money flow indicates this, right? And it's just like what we looked at on the 2-day. 2-day money flow crosses into the green, right? Or actually, it crossed over right here, right? And what do we get? You get a correction, right? But the overall anticipation, you get that 2-day red dot, right? You can get an ebb or flow to the downside, but the overall continuation of the trend is to the upside, right? So it's okay to get the bigger corrections as long as we can put in the higher lows. And based off money flow right now, that is what I would expect. And when you start looking at that, ETH leveling up, or ETH having the money flow come up, dominance starting to get that money flow bleeding to the downside. If there is a time to potentially be on alt season watch, there is actually signals on the chart to look at this now, unlike back here, right? And it doesn't guarantee it, right? But like back here, it was like, I don't know, guys, like alt season, I don't know. You flip this to support, you're looking to go to the PLC. That's bad for alts, right? But now you actually have the money flow tanking to the downside, and the money flow on the dailies already crossed over into the red, continuing down absolutely beautifully, right? But when we come back to 2021, just understand that that money flow, remember, indicates the trend, not the instant dump, right? Money flow was in the red here. What happened? We got a bounce. Some people might think like, oh, what the heck? I thought money flow was coming out. Why are we pumping? That's okay, right? Money flow is still coming down. You're just looking for the overall trend to continue down. Does that make sense? So you got weekly money flow crossing into the green, 5-day, 6-day money flow crossing over into the green. You're testing key resistance and the doorway to higher prices on Ethereum. You have dominance starting to look pretty bearish. You have rate cuts potentially coming down the line. And I don't want to create FOMO, and I don't want to make it seem like it's guaranteed. But all the other times that people call for alt season, it's not necessarily sitting on the charts, right? Like, that's anytime you see someone say something, you always want to double check it. Like, is there a reason they're actually saying this, or are they just trying to wait for history to repeat, right? Because history can rhyme, but it very rarely will just repeat one-to-one. But now it's like we have those signs on the chart. So at the end of the day, this could fake out back into the green, and it might not play out. But every other time people call for alt season, like, it just wasn't on the charts. Here, we are seeing what we want to see. So I'm hopeful, cautiously optimistic as always. Very nice to see. And it's not only on the ETH chart, it's also on the dominance chart. And also when you just take the macroeconomics into account, it's just, it's crazy, guys. It seems like it's lining up perfectly. Now, if they don't cut rates in September, this is going to step on a lot of stuff, and likely we'll see a delay or, you know, maybe a cancellation of alt season. That's not my base case. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Like I said, the predictions are still above 89%, which is still pretty good. This can change when we get closer to the FOMC. So we'll just keep an eye on that, and, you know, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'll keep you guys updated every single day. But yeah, very, very, very nice to see. You know, it's not just one signal, right? It's all this stuff coming together. And this is what makes someone said, why are we bullish on Ethereum? And that is going to be it. And I feel like that was a pretty good explanation of, you know, and again, I'll never tell you that it's guaranteed, but, you know, these are, anytime you see confluence like this, guys, the probabilities are definitely on the side of a continuation up. But I do want to be realistic here. If we are going to see another retracement to the downside, remember we looked at dominance. If we get that little bing bong, right, this could cause turbulence in the altcoins. For Ethereum, I would be okay, and I don't even know how likely it is at this point making a new high. I don't know how likely it's going to be to see this happen, but if we did get another big dump down, guys, I would not be getting worried until we're like really testing like $3,000 to $2,800. And if I pull up a clean chart here just to show you guys what I'm looking at there, you know, it's at the end of the day, right? And again, right, like you might have your weekly money flow crossing over into the green, but that red dot could give you what? An ebb or flow to the downside, right? For a red dot, it would be an ever flow to the downside. So if that red dot gives you correction, we break back down into the range, I would even really be okay coming down here to retest this structure between $3,000 and $2,800. Now, this is also, if I bring this chart up, confluent with a golden pocket, a daily MPOC, and another daily MPOC with a weekly MPOC. So, worst case scenario, if we did have to come all the way back down here, like this is still a potentially healthy place to pull back to, and we actually have to update this fib now, right? Well, not that one. I have to update this now because we made a new high, right? So it's still the same zone, right? But golden pocket does move up slightly. But you have these big levels of support, right? You also have a daily MPOC, which was confluent with the anchored VWAP, not really anymore. But I would say like the biggest levels of support, if we do have to get some kind of bigger correction down, obviously you're always going to be looking at your value area high as your first major zone to hold as support. If you break back down into the value area high, sure, it could cause more downside, short-term bearish, but still long-term bullish. Daily MPOC, 3168, that could be an area to watch. And then if we come down here, this would be like a pretty big level to look at. So again, we'll cross that bridge if and when we have to get there. But again, money flow, it indicates this, right? Again, the overall trend. It's not going to predict the corrections. The corrections are predicted off of the red dots printing, which we potentially do have a weekly red dot coming in soon, which would also line up, right? If Bitcoin had to get the bigger retracement from its levels of resistance that we're testing right now to come down and retest some of those lower key levels of support that we have on Bitcoin, right? Which I brought up in the beginning of the stream. I'll just pull them up for you guys so you can get an eye on them if you just tuned in, right? We still do have, some pretty good support down here, right? 111, 110, 107 to 108. It's not until we start losing that'll be a little bit more bearish, right? So yeah. Everything kind of lining up, guys. Many things lining up. So that is kind of my basis here on why I'm bullish on Ethereum. And again, I know some, like, especially if you're new to crypto, it might be like, those guys are bullish on Ethereum. Then you pull back here, it's like, what the heck? I thought he was bullish. Still bullish, right? Because again, money flow, longer term trend. Green dot, up. Red dot, down. Green dot, up. Red dot, down. Money flow comes up. Overall anticipation is higher. Money flow indicates longer term trend. Red and green dots indicate the ebbs and flows. There you go. I'm going to leave that there. Let's go. Come on, ETH. I hold a lot of ETH, guys. Come on. Come on, baby. Let's see. Let me scrub up in chat. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Shout out to Off Grid Carnivore. Thank you for the super chat. Said, appreciate all you do, man. Full moon tonight. We're back. Let's go. Shout out to Off Grid Carnivore. Smash that like button if you guys want to go to the moon. I can't promise it'll help, but it'll help morale. Shout out to Off-Grid Carnivore. Thank you for saying that, bro. And thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you so much. Let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Ray. Said you should add trend lines to your analysis. Shout out to Ray. Actually, what we could do here is we can pull up some spider lines, which are pretty much essentially just trend lines. Let's see where our spider lines are sitting. If we have any significant spider lines sitting here. I'm going to hide all the TA just so I can clean things up a bit. And I will just see where these trend lines do sit. Or these spider lines, I should say. Wow. Well, there you go. We're tapping into a spider line literally as we speak. It does move based off your time frame. But yeah, we are approaching a spider line here at about 41.37. Even held this spider line here on the way back down. So yeah, if you want some trend line analysis, these spider lines are absolutely goated, right? Resistance, support, 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 flip it to support, push up, support, support, lose it, back down, flip it to resistance, back down. I mean, these spider lines are absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, these are... You do have one above there. I mean, this could also be looked at as a key level to get above as well if you want to look at trend lines, right? Flip on top of that 786. Flip on top of that spider line. I mean, hey, you're creeping up. You're creeping up to potentially. Hang on, let me see something. Where's this spider line sit? 6, 7K? I mean, that is at the upper end of that Fibonacci target, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it is sitting right in that zone. 5,800. I mean, depending on how fast you come up here, right? Because obviously, if you take a long time to get up there, the spider line moves up a lot. But if you were to shoot up sooner than later, 5,800 at your first extension level, break up in here, got 6,600 at the second level, and then that last level sits right in there on that spider line. Interesting. Spider lines are goated, guys. I actually do have a video, I believe, on how to pull these Ethereum spider lines on the chart. But you can see how well they're respected. So there you go. I only brought that up because you said add trend lines. Well, there you go. There's some trend lines. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to TDK. Says, puppy, please. Shout out to TDK. The puppy. went home. I don't have a watch on, guys. The puppy went home like 15 minutes ago. So sad. But it has encouraged me to get my own pup. Shout out to TDK. Such a sad day. Such a sad day. Let's see. Shout out to Lots at how to apply that to the chart. I believe, Tony, if you could see if there's, I think I have an Ethereum spider line video. It's pretty old. If you could find that and drop it, don't make, oh. Look at that, guys. As I'm asking him, it's already in there. Shout out to get yourself a Tony D, guys. Unbelievable. Shout out to Tony. And there it is, guys. Don't make fun of me. That was, I think this is like earlier in my days of having a YouTube channel, so I might be a little bit cringe on camera, but forgive me. The information is still good. Let's see. Spider lines on XRP. Shout out to Perry. I do not have spider lines on XRP. I could try to pull them. I won't do it live, but maybe I will try to get them on the chart so we can share them with you guys on another future live stream. I'm trying to think if there's like a good place to pull these. Let me see here. So this is the 2021. Yeah, I would probably. What is this? That's 2018. Yeah, I could try to pull some spider lines on XRP. Let me just, real quick, guys, bear with me here. I'm just going to, this is experimental. Let me just see something here. There's one spider line. 2 spider lines. Interesting. I mean, this is pretty wild, right? Like, just pulling the spider lines. They are respected here. That is kind of wild. But yeah, look at this. Back above, bearish retest, back down to this one. We are approaching another one. Support, resistance. Pretty crazy. But I will try to get some spider lines on the chart for you guys at some point for XRP, and I'll share it with you guys here on the live stream. Let's see. Love from Iran. Shout out to Iran Needs Crypto. Let's go. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. Love back from the Frankie Candles headquarters here. Still bullish on XRP. Shout out to MN's Sharif. Me too. Me too. Absolutely. But we took a look at Ethereum. That is, big update on Ethereum. Not big update, but, like big things happening on Ethereum right now, guys. Very, very, very nice to see. Let's see. Shout out to Brillo, said, I noticed that you don't really follow trading indicators like bull or bear flags, double tops, etc. Shout out to Brillo. This is something, I actually talk about this a lot because a lot of people will talk about trading patterns. Trading patterns are something I use. Here's the thing, right? Like, you could trade patterns 100%. I'm not saying, I would never say that you can't trade patterns. I trade using liquidity, volume profiles, and order flow, right? So I just don't trade patterns alone. You could trade patterns, but I would highly suggest that you incorporate other forms of confluence into it to make, to get the highest success rate out of it. But at the end of the day, right, we talked about this on, I forgot what coin, maybe it was Bitcoin. It's like you look like you're forming a bull pennant and then it fakes out to the downside and then sends it to the upside. So like the way I trade, I can actually identify more often than not if you're going to get a fake out and like how probable the pattern is to break out. But what I more often use the patterns for is to figure out like technical targets. This is like one thing I really like to use for with patterns, right? So you can see here, we were looking at this on Solana. It might not be like the most technical, perfect head and shoulders, but you could just kind of see this being some kind of a bottom structure, right? Which is essentially all you're doing when you're looking at patterns. The chart does not know it's creating a head and shoulders, right? It's just like typically this is what bottom structures will oftentimes look like. So it's really just a way to describe price action in my own personal opinion. So one thing that we were looking at here, I believe it was like this kind of like, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, depending on what time frame you're looking at. It's just kind of like, all right, you got like a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. But what I do there is I pull the neckline and then I will grab a technical target like this from the neckline to the bottom, and then you drag that to the breakout neckline, right, or the neckline breakout, and that is oftentimes going to give you your technical target. And you can see this is something we looked at on Solana when we were looking for Solana to break back into this profile and start its journey up towards that PLC. That technical target came in almost to the dollar. They won't always hit perfectly like that, but this is usually what I use for patterns. So yeah, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't look at patterns or you can't trade patterns. It's just, when you figure out the style of trading that you want to use, when you start looking at too much stuff, if you have everything pointing to upside and then you have a head and shoulders forming, you start to get conflicted, right? Because it's like you might have your entire strategy saying long, and then you have a head and shoulders, and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't long the head and shoulders. Well, there's no guarantee that head and shoulders is going to play out, right? If you have more things pointing to the upside, I wouldn't just listen to the pattern. So that's just kind of why I don't trade them alone. But you could totally trade them. I just recommend looking at more confluence, like other signals and indicators or whatever, to confirm, right, that the direction is going to go in the way that you think that pattern's going to break out to. I wish, because when I first started trading, I thought it was as easy as just finding like a bull flag, bull pennant, whatever. It could help you like try to identify direction, but I would say it's like lower on the list of things that I look at. But it doesn't mean I don't look at it, right? At the end of the day, when you have a bull pennant, right, like that's oftentimes bullish consolidation, right? More often than not, that is bullish consolidation, right? But if I know I have a lot of liquidity sitting down here below the lows, there's going to be a high probability that you fake out to the downside and then see that bull pennant play out. And I used to be a victim of this constantly because I would just trade the pennant or the pattern alone, and I would wind up getting stopped out only for price to go to the upside. And I would just think to myself, there's got to be a way to figure out how this happens. And by looking at liquidity, it can really help you identify what's going to happen there. And we did see that happen on Bitcoin. I think it was on the lower time frames here. Where is it? Right here, right? It's not like the perfect bull pennant here, but like if you were to look at this, and you're looking at this as like some kind of like bullish consolidation. What? I just got lost here. I'm going to have to go down to a lower time frame. If you're looking at this as like some kind of like, bull pennant, something like that, something like this, it's like, well, hey, also you have to understand patterns is like a very big like retail strategy. So a lot of people are longing within this bull pennant, but what do we know about a lot of people entering long positions? Well, if a ton of people are entering long positions here, where's their liquidity going to go? It's going to go right down here. And then what happens? You weren't wrong that this was bullish consolidation, but you get that fake out, stopping out everyone long in the bull pennant, and then it winds up taking off, right? So what would I be looking to trade there to avoid that and take the more advanced kind of approach there? Well, I'd be looking at liquidity sitting below that range, right, sitting below this wick, and I would wait for the swing failure pattern, wait for all the retail to get stopped out, right? So if you're long here, your stop loss is going to be below the pattern, right? And you have a ton of liquidity down there. But what I would do is if I understood there was a lot of liquidity sitting down here, I'd say, look, well, hey, I'm not going to go with the crowd here just long in the simple pattern. I'm going to wait for a potential SFP of that low. And then your long position, if you do that, is going to just wait for everybody to get washed out, let the retail get stopped out, and then as they get stopped out, that's what you're using to enter the position, right? And then that will likely give you a nice entry for a move to the upside, right? So this pennant played out, right, but it faked out to the downside first, and I was just a victim of this so much when I was trading patterns that I just decided, you know what, it is bullish consolidation, you should pay attention to this stuff, but, if you see these other more advanced things pointing towards a sweep of liquidity, you might want to hold off and wait for that lower entry. So just my 2 cents. So there you go. And that's kind of me, right? Like I could use this as part of my strategy, right? But I'm using confluence with liquidity and all that stuff to kind of give a higher probability outcome there. So there you go. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Only patterns I like are on my shorts. Shirts. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto, guys. It's Friday. My brain is slowly turning off. All right, let's see here. I see a red dot coming in for almost all altcoins. We could have a correction, but I could be wrong. Shout out to Jan. Yeah, 100%. We actually just covered that with the high time frame weekly red dot on Ethereum, right? So you could see the correction, but we actually covered all those key levels that we'll be watching to the downside as well. All right, let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. We need BTC cheaper. Yeah, I can never hate on cheap BTC. Let's go. Shout out to Off-Grid Carnivore said, I traded patterns and lost. Now I use Fibs and Market Cipher, mainly with a few others. We printed now, baby. Shout out to Off-Grid Carnivore. Yeah, I think patterns are, I like patterns only because I do think this is what like kind of sparks the interest to people on trading. It's like you see all these candles going up and down, and then when someone just breaks it down, it's like, well, hey, like this could be a bullish, like it starts to make it look really simple. I wish it was this simple. I fell into this trap. And again, it doesn't mean they're useless, but there is a lot more that goes into trading than just seeing a pattern on the chart and winning every time, or even like more often than not. It's very, very difficult. But again, you could use it as a confluence as I do as well. Or if you trade them alone and you're just, the traditional way to trade patterns, right? It's like for a bull pennant would be like, well, hey, if you get the breakout, you would look for the retest, enter, and then you come to get the move to the upside. And you will see this happen a lot. But, if you're just trading off of that, it's like, how do you know? Because sometimes also what will happen with especially bull pennants is you'll get the fake out to the upside, right? So now not only do you have everybody longing the bottom of the pattern, but you also have like breakout traders trying to enter in down here. And then what happens? Whee! wash out all those longs, wash out all these longs, and then you send it up, right? So you kind of avoid all that choppiness by using those other more advanced techniques. But there you go. But we took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at Solana. Did we take a look at Solana? I just got off the premium live stream, guys, where we did look at Solana. So, no, we did not cover this in full. I just did the technical breakout target example there. But here's Solana. Pushed into our golden pocket retracement. This is a potential place to put in a higher low, guys, because as we saw the 2-day money flow crossover, and I'm going to say this once on Solana, and then it will apply to almost every altcoin that we look at. But when you get that 2-day money flow crossover, the idea here, guys, is that the continuation of the trend is to the upside. That does not mean that you can't get those, like Jan was saying, if you get a red dot, it doesn't mean that you can't get retracements. And this is a perfect example. This money flow crossover makes me anticipate the longer term trend continuing to the upside. But the red dot prints, and what happens? You get a pullback. But as you get this pullback, as long as your money flow is in the green, you are going to be looking for higher lows and potential breaks of structure to the upside to continue the overall trend. The green dot, red dot, green dot, money flow, right? Money flow indicates this. The green and red dots indicate the ebbs and flows. So, and that's a perfect example of that happening, right? What happened? We came into the value area low. We saw a lot of things tapping into its value area low, not even breaking above. You went things like Cardano, right? Hey, guys, we're approaching the value area low. This is resistance, right? Could get a correction, but the 2-day money flows in the green. So what are you going to look for? Higher lows and higher highs. Now, this does not mean that the low is guaranteed on Solana. And hopefully it is, right? This is a place, right? If we're going to look for a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high, this golden pocket is the first place to look. If you lose that golden pocket, the next place to look would be the 786. I don't want to lose the 786 on Solana. $144, right? About at the POC 786 weekly naked point of control. This is the lowest I would like to go. If you lose this, you're probably going back down to the low of the range. I don't want to see that for the bigger continuation up. But we are currently bouncing off the first level that has an opportunity to be a higher low. Right? You get the red dot. You anticipate the pullback. Oh, my God, no alt season. Everything's going to zero. But no money flow is telling you higher lows and higher highs are more likely. So hopefully we can stick this. We are now back above our value area high, which is very nice to see. You can see that beautiful retest of the value area high, breakout, bounce, send it back up. So I would say the biggest levels to look at on Solana right now, value area low, or the doorway to higher prices, is sitting at 183.88. Value area high of the previous range is sitting at 166.86. So at the end of the day, if you can get back inside this profile, it could look good to make this the higher low before breaking structure to the upside, which would push you directly into that next target, which once you break above that value area low, it opens up that target to the POC. And this would also make sense, right? Especially once you break above that value area low, that you could see that break of structure to the upside to continue your trend low, high, higher low, higher high. So that's the biggest level to the upside is going to be 183.91 at the value area low. And then if we do break back down, I really locally would not want to break back down below this value area high. If you do that, the second approach on the golden pocket, I would not expect to hold up exactly like we looked at on Ethereum locally, right? You get the first rejection off the golden pocket. This is the same exact thing, right? It's just flipped upside down, right? You get the rejection, and then once you come up for that second tap, you're not expecting resistance again. You're looking to push up to the 786, right? If I invert this, it's like the same thing, right? It's just on the opposite way, right? Oh, we bounced off the golden pocket. This could be a higher low, right? But if not, you're not going to get support on that golden pocket 9 out of 10 times the second time. You're going to look towards that 786. So coming back to Solana here, right? It's not possible if we do come back down below this value area high. I don't want to lose this. If we lose it, coming down here is not going to be a key level anymore, right? Because you already tapped the golden pocket. You might just be able to melt through right to the 786. And you would hope that if you're looking for the higher low and the higher high, that higher low comes in here. Because if it doesn't, you break below that 786, you're looking for the continuation down. Just like on Ethereum, when you come back to that 786, if you don't get the rejection, right, you break above it, you're looking for the continuation up. If I flip that upside down, it's very similar to what we're looking at on Solana, right? You get the bounce off the golden pocket. If you don't hold it, break through the 786, you lose that 786, you're looking for the continuation down. I mean, it's exactly what you would look at. Oh, my God. I was so tripped out here, guys, because this is inverted. I was like, what the heck am I looking at, right? So golden pocket, if you don't, you're probably not going to hold that the second time. If you lose it, 786 is where you bounce. If you break it, continuation down, right? Very similar to Ethereum. It's just inverted again. There we go. So That's what I'm looking at on Solana. Not too shabby. Nice to get that bounce off this key level that we were looking at on the live stream. Giving these levels free every single day, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button if you like the free content and if you like free money. We are going to be giving away some crypto here at the end of the stream. The chart never lies, or I'm sorry, the chart never fails except sometimes. Shout out to All Day Trades. Pretty much. That's pretty accurate. It never fails except for sometimes. But more often than not, it will be right. Let's see. Best TA instructor out there. Shout out to Off Grid Carnivore. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. All right, so that's what we're looking at on Solana. Quick little check-in on XRP, guys. We'll just go through the big boys real quick before we move on. Same thing, holding the golden pocket. This would be very nice, right? We're back above that anchored VWAP. Very key level to hold if you're going to continue your uptrend. This is the anchored VWAP from the absolute low here. Not all-time low, right? But the low here at about $1.91. You hold it as support, hold it as support, hold it as support. Big push. Retest, reclaim. This is a big level to stay on top of locally. This is coming in at about 294. If we lose that anchored VWAP, right, let's say we do come back down, we lose that anchored VWAP, right, maybe a bearish retest. This golden pocket, like I explained on Solana, I would not expect this to hold for a second time. I would expect that to get ran through on the second approach, but is that okay? In my opinion, yes, because when we look at this from a higher time frame perspective, or our original thesis here, guys, for XRP was like, hey, we got the breakout, right? We looked at that fractal from 2017 that we looked at like about 1 million times, right? I'll even pull the, I'm going to have to pull it over here because I have more price history, right? So you have the fractal here, right? Usually when you get these long-term consolidations, it does end up breaking out in a very big way. And we talked about like, hey, I wouldn't expect this to play out exactly as it played out in the past. But typically, you have these long-term consolidations. A lot of times they do end up in a big breakout, right? We were talking about this and saying, if we are going to get that breakout, just don't be worried if you do get some kind of correction. We came up here to the key resistance level that we were looking at. Retests of the structure highs at about even 260 would be the anticipated like big level to look at to retest. Could we have put in the higher low a little early here on that local golden pocket? It's definitely not impossible, but I do just want to have you guys aware, like even if you did have to get another rejection here for another lower low, we are still not even at that first major level we were looking at. We are bouncing off one of the local levels we were looking at, which is nice, but if you have to come back down, like we still have plenty of room to come down here and retest those big macro levels. And I really wouldn't be worried about XRP until you start breaking down below 230 at the 786, right? Because this is the fib from the low to the high. So when I pull up the clean chart here, I'll pull that same Fibonacci retracement. I don't know why this is so laggy, but if you pull from the low to the high, right, I think it's the impulse. Hang on a second. Let me see where I have that pulled from. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Yeah, from the low to the high, it's at, between 260 and 250. Yeah, 260 and 250. It's this golden pocket. I don't know why that was so confusing to me. But if you do come back down there, right, it's the range high, 260 to 250 golden pocket. That is a place where you can bounce off of, right? Because from a Fibonacci perspective, this entire move, that would be a golden pocket retracement, healthy pullback before a big move up. If you had to, I don't really want to deal with this, but if you had to go down to the 786, that's still a place you can bounce. But once you do that, you are dealing with the fact that you are accepted back into your major range, right? Like it would be much cleaner, in my opinion, to bounce there rather than come on down below the value area high in the POC, and then you have to get above the POC and above the value area high. It just becomes a little bit of a harder, move, right? But it would be, I'm not even saying you have to get this, but if you do see another correction, just to have you prepared, like this is still a very, very big level between 260 and 250 that we were already anticipating, right? Not scary. This would feel, the sentiment here would be terrible, right? But from a structural standpoint, it's just a golden pocket retracement, right? So you got to be aware of that. So yeah, other than that, right, 2-day money flow still in the green, 2-day green dot. This also looks like, just like yesterday on the 30-minute time frame, we were able to predict that 30-minute bearish divergence on Bitcoin, indicating that we would break structure to the upside, right? I'll even come back into bar replay mode to explain this as fully as I possibly can, right? We're saying, well, hey, you have this green dot printing on the 30-minute. If this looks like it could form a bearish divergence. If that were to happen, you would need a break of structure to the upside. What happens? You obviously get that to play out perfectly, right? You get that lower high in your momentum wave, you get the break of structure to the upside, and it is very, very nice and predictable. So when we look at something like XRP on the 2-day time frame, I would say, right, if we can get that green dot to confirm here, we got about an hour and 13 minutes. I mean, I would like to have seen it push up a little bit more aggressively. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed to put the bearish divergence in, right? It happened to be right on Bitcoin that time, but this looks like maybe you can print a bearish divergence, and if that were the case, right, it would call for a break of structure to the upside. But I would just be careful, right? Because like we do still have the 5-day red dot just confirmed. Yeah, look at that 6-day got the VWAP flip. This is getting a little. I like that. These VWAP flips is getting a little choppy up here. It kind of just swallowed that 6-day red dot. Your weekly red dot is printing though as well, just like on Ethereum, right? But I would just still be anticipating that red dot to be an ebb or flow to the downside for a higher low and a higher high. Almost every altcoin is going to have that same sentiment. So there you go. So just be careful because we are at resistance, right? You do potentially have that weekly red dot incoming. But if you crack the highs here, major target between 416, 417, and I would say between about 417 and 453. All right, let's see. Market Cypher B looks so good. Shout out to Pharaoh. Yeah, it's and again, it's like especially on Ethereum, right? Like even the weekly money flow on XRP is already in the green here, but I mean on Ethereum, I mean this is what you want to see, right? When you want to see a big move up, even if you have to get a big correction, right? Like if you want to see a big continuation to the upside, that weekly money flow crossover is something you want to see. Big signal there. All right, let's see. Shout out to Infinite Growth. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. He says, can we take a look at Doge, please? Yes, we can take a look at Doge. I will write it down for you, no problemo. Thank you for the super chat. Reminder, guys, please understand that super chatting your altcoin doesn't guarantee we'll look at it. I wish I could stay here all day. We did yesterday, but I will try my best to look at everything. Shout out to Infinite Growth. I will take a look at Doge for you, but you do not have to super chat your altcoins. Let's hit 80K subs. Shout out to Niniox. Guys, if you're not subbed to the channel, my metrics here say that 82% of you guys are not subscribed, so subscribe to that channel and run us up, baby. Hit it. Let us hit 80K. We'll do a giveaway at 80K, but 100K, guys, we're gonna do something crazy. When we hit 100,000 subscribers, we are gonna do something. I don't know, maybe a 24-hour stream, maybe massive giveaway, probably both, something like that. We'll do something crazy when we hit 100K. Where do you find these POCs and golden pockets? Shout out to Cal. Check out the beginner series. If you watch all my beginner series videos, it's basically a free trading course that will get you exactly up to speed with what we look at here on the charts, and it will also teach you how to trade, or at least get you in there from knowing nothing about the charts to understanding how to find potential trade setups. So definitely check that out. XRP printing soon. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Ann. Let's see. Anybody got a good site for liquidity maps? Freddie, I think you were asking the Mafia, but I do have a good site. One that I really like to use is High Block Capital. It is a paid platform. I believe we have a discount code if you want to use it, but as always, I'll give you a free alternative here. I know not everybody has money to spend. Coinglass.com is a free tool that you can use for your liquidation heat maps. There we go. So yeah, this is 100% free. I think you might have to make an account, but it's just free. You have to give me your email or whatever, and you can just use this. This is plenty. If you don't have money to spend, you can use this to find those liquidation heat maps. They're never you can't just trade based off this alone, but it does obviously help you identify where the heavy liquidity is by these big yellow boxes. So there you go. Quick little answer for you. Let's see. Jesse says 24-hour stream. Let's get it, Tony D. Did you hear that? Shout out to Jesse. All right, so we'll take a quick look at Doge right now. Let me just make sure I didn't want to miss any super chats here. Let's make sure. Oh, we did get a couple. Okay, hang on one second here, guys. Shout out to Multisig Dummy. Hope you're doing well, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Says, serious question. If a year-old meme coin starts to print God candles, will Market Cypher B see it coming? Shout out to Multisig Dummy. This is actually funny. Someone was asking me this in the premium live stream. I would say, listen, I mean, on meme coins, it's a little bit hard. I would never recommend trying to do legitimate TA on like a meme coin like in the Solana trenches. I would pretty much say TA is probably useless in that case. It depends on the meme. It depends on, the market cap, the age of it. You're saying about a year-old meme. It really depends on the chart, right? Like if I look at the chart, I can kind of tell you if the TA is going to play out or not, or if it would be reliable. So yeah, it does get a little hard, but like something on like Pepe, Dogecoin, Fartcoin, like the bigger meme coins, right? Like you could obviously use some pretty legitimate TA. So hopefully that helps you out, Multi-Sig Dummy. If you let me know what coin you're looking at, I'll try to take a look at it for you. Spiritual Tradie, what is going on, man? Thank you for the super chat, Stead. I'm still rainbow for you, Frankie. So the top isn't in. Shout out to Spiritual Tradie. Let's go. Shout out to Spiritual Tradie, bro. Oh, God. The Mafia gets crazy on Fridays, guys. Shout out to Crypto Knight. Thank you for the $1 super chat. If you meant to write something in there, feel free to drop it in the free chat. I'll try to find it. You don't have to buy another super chat. But I appreciate you so much. And then Infinite Growth asking for Dogecoin. I appreciate the super chats, guys. You have no idea. Pangu hard for me to do to TA. Lol, shout out to Crypto Knight. Maybe we'll take a look at Pangu. Make BTC pump, Frankie. Let's go. I'm just going to full port my entire net worth on 100x leverage. We should be able to move it. Shout out to you, man. Let's take a quick look at Doge. XRP wins. XRP gang in the chat. What is going on, brother? Welcome in. Let's take a quick look at Dogecoin. So we looked at this yesterday. We looked at pretty much every altcoin ever created yesterday because we were live for 5 hours. But holding the golden pocket, very nice to see back above that anchored VWAP. I will say here, taking a look at the high, I'm going to give a higher time frame analysis on the altcoins here, guys. Very nice to be back above this anchored VWAP. Very nice to hold the golden pocket retracement. This is your full golden pocket retracement, right? Yeah, full golden pocket retracement from the low all the way to the high. First level to potentially put a higher low in at, right? So definitely an opportunity here to get that crack of the structure to the upside, breaking above your point of control, which could also potentially give you the open opportunity to push up towards your value area high and this massive resistance zone that we have sitting closer to about 38 cents, starting at about 34 cents. You also have a weekly MPOC at 32 cents. So 2-day green dot looking to print. I mean, if you're looking for that bearish divergence, it would call for a break of structure to the upside. You also have the hold of your higher low level on the golden pocket, which would also make that a possibility. So you have a few things pointing to a potential continuation up here. 2-day money flow just in general being in the green is very nice, right? But in the worst case scenario, if you had to come and get another dump to the downside, same as everything else, right? Not expecting that golden pocket to hold up a second time, but what happens if you lose the golden pocket? You're going to be looking down to the 786, which is confluent with that value area low. So I would say worst case scenario, you don't want to lose this value area low. If you lose the value area low, you could be looking for lower prices. We have a weekly MPOC at 12 cents. But as we live inside this massive volume profile, I will be and money flow being in the green here, low, high, higher, low, higher, high. If that's not the case, could put in the higher low there. Once you lose that, break it down to lower prices. So still healthy here, right? Hopefully this is hopefully we get those early golden pocket bounces. We don't have to mess with those 786s. Taking a look at the 3-day green dot printing and look at that 3-day money flow, guys. Let's look at the last time we got a 3-day money flow crossover. That's interesting. Spent a lot of time in the green, came into the red. Spent a lot of time in the red. Maybe it's time to oscillate into the green. And you have the green dot as well. This would mean overall continuation long-term could continue to the upside. Be a higher probability here. Beautiful 3-day money flow. 4-day, still kind of flat down there, which is interesting. You'll notice here, guys, the 4-day money flow is like the odd man out here, right? If I come up to the 5-day, it's just like so different than the 4-day. Right? Usually you'll see the 3-day money flow crossing over into the green, and then that 4-day will be like a little bit farther away, right? But this is just, the 4-day is kind of wonked on a lot of coins here. 5-day money flow kind of flat. 6-day money flow coming up. Weekly money flow just crossed back into the green, which is nice to see. Red dot printing, though, right? And that's why I do have you guys ready for a potential bigger continuation down. That's why I give the lines in the sand, right? Because if that red dot prints and we get another break of the low, I don't want everybody just panicking thinking we're going to zero. But that's why I give you the line in the sand. Like, don't worry about that until we break down below that 786. So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on Dogecoin. Not too shabby. Very nice bounce. And I would say locally, anchored VWAP would be a key level to hold at about 21 cents. And then once you lose that anchored VWAP, the only thing underneath you is the golden pocket. But again, on the second tap, we're not really expecting too much support off that. Shout out to the moon. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the super chat. Says LFG ETH. Any chance we can get some eyeballs on APU? Yes, I will write it down here. We will try to take a look at that for you to the moon. Also, just want to take a look at Arrow today, guys. Obviously, Arrow getting the nice cook to the upside. And if you guys watched yesterday's live stream, you would have seen this coming, guys. Crazy. The TA, I mean, we are trading very technically here. We looked at yesterday not only the fact that we got the correction, right? If we look at the 2-day, right? Again, the overall anticipation here with money flow coming up is higher lows and higher highs, low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Where is that higher low likely to come in at? Right on the entry zone is what I like to call it. The golden pocket 786. That's where you're looking for your higher low. And what happens here? We even broke this down a little bit more saucy for you guys because we actually did have the perfect, like when was this happening? Where was this yesterday during the stream? Yesterday was the 7th at about, so we were like just getting the bounce from that 786, breaking out of the value area high. But why did I like this so much? The line is still here from the stream. We had the lower lows on our price action with the higher lows on our momentum waves here on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour bullish divergences into a 786 where you're looking for a higher low, especially in the context here higher time frame with your 2-day money flow indicating the continuation of your trend long term to the upside. When you have a 4-hour bullish divergence into that key level with money flow curving to the upside, this is a very good bottom signal for a continuation to the upside. And if you're going to put the higher low in and you're looking for the higher high, where is that higher high likely to break? That structure to the upside right here. Does that make sense? Golden pocket pulled from the low to the high. That's where you're looking for the higher low. If you can stick it, which again, keep in mind, 4-hour bull divs with money flow coming up. Went over it yesterday. Very nice signal. Higher high is to be expected for the break of structure to the upside. And if you watch the stream every day, it's almost like very commonly we will look at that and be like, well, there is that break of structure, which leads you directly into that next target, which was sitting here between, the value area low at $1.04 and the daily and weekly MPOC at $1.07. So you are coming up to some resistance, but at that same time, right, not impossible to get a little resistance here. But at the end of the day, if you can hold on top of this, whether you have to break down below and then play with this a little bit, or if you can just retest and hold it as support, next target to the upside would be the POC at about $1.18. So there you go. First target hit. Second target sits up here. Once you get above the POC, your biggest target to the upside, higher time frame, would be the $1.52 value area high. Very nice to see. Shout out to anybody in the stream that was looking at that with us. Pretty wild. Let's see. Shout out to Captain Kirk says, Ada Super Algo. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to send that. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Let's go. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Show Captain some love in the chat. Shout out to Chris L. Said, too many bongs, not enough likes. Smash that like button, guys. Let's run it up. Let's get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream. I think we can do it. I think we can do it, guys. If we do, let me see. Tony, let me see if Tony updated me on the giveaways. I do believe we did hit some light goals. Let's take a look here. At Tony D, if you could send me those giveaways. Yeah, if you could send me the giveaways. I do believe we hit a light goal. We're giving away some Solana. We're giving away some Cardano. Maybe we'll even give away some hats. But if we get 1,000 likes, we'll add to that Solana giveaway, guys. Might be a pretty decent giveaway. Let's see. Shout out to Wella. Says, I hit it already. I smashed it already. Let's go. Shout out to Wella. Ondo. Yeah, we could take a look at Ondo as well. All right, so let's take a quick look at Ondo real quick. I am just quietly writing down some requests here, guys. I'm here for it. Smash the likes. Shout out to Master Blaster. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Have we done ADA or H bar? We have not, but we can. We can do. I'll do ADA. I'll do ADA and H bar because I think these are like highly anticipated, or not anticipated, but highly requested. Take a quick look at Cardano. You know, we looked at a lot of this stuff yesterday, guys. I might run the. We do have to get to the giveaways as well, but we might run the alt list a little bit shorter today. But again, you know, interesting. We front run the golden pocket here, right? This is your full golden pocket from the low to the high. I usually like these tapped, right? But you did actually hit, if you pull it from the higher low, you actually did just tap into that golden pocket pulled from the higher low, which is nice to see. I typically, right, the full golden pocket, though, you know, if you're looking for, at this point, right, we've deviated above the high. We got stuck into the volume profile. We all know at that point you are going to look for the high probability move to the point of control, which also pretty much just held as support. It's not impossible to get a breakout from that POC, right? Sometimes you can get the initial breakout of the range, the retest of the POC, and then the final move up. I would have really, really liked to get the bounce off that full golden pocket. But again, even if I pull it from this significant impulse, right, you did push into that golden pocket. You could have looked at this as like confluence, right? So, this could be, again, like a little bit of a more local golden pocket to bounce off of, sure. But if you do have to get the bigger move down, just understand you do still have this full golden pocket retracement. So let's say you get the high, the low, you put in a lower high, you stay in the range, you push down towards the golden pocket 786, still a decent place to look for a higher low longer term. This would be in the case of Bitcoin getting a bigger correction down, Ethereum getting the bigger correction down as well. This will obviously follow. Big zone of support down here starting. Golden pocket sits between about 67 and 66 cents. Once you lose that, you're looking down toward the value area low 786. I actually love this 786. I'm not saying you have to come down here, but if you did, I actually do like this quite a bit. And the reason for that is because if you do come down there, it like gives you enough room to fill the entire volume profile, just slightly deviate to put in the higher low and the higher high. So in the case of a bigger pullback, you could still see something like this off the golden pocket or the 786. But hopefully we just got the bounce off that POC local golden pocket, and that is the low. That would be very nice. Higher time frame looks the same as everything else. 2-day money flow crossover into the green in all of its glory, right? This makes you anticipate, again, even on this correction down, you come up to resistance. Money flows in the green. We're bullish. But Frankie, we're dumping. I thought we were bullish. We're still bullish, right? Money flows in the green. You're just looking for higher lows and higher highs. It's not the money flow making this move to the downside. It's the red dot, which is just an ebb or flow to the downside. Money flow cruising up is going to anticipate the longer term trend. I hope this is the case, guys. This would be so nice. We even got like really faked out. This is a very similar situation on a lot of stuff. I'll just bring up Polkadot because I have a clean chart here. It's like even here, man, it's like in the October, November, December, like or really December where we really got that big push up. Like this looked good to start like a real good alt season at first. But, no rate cuts, none of that stuff, right? So we just got slammed back down. But a lot of this stuff looks, very similar to what we've seen. As hopefully this is the final time where we get it to play out. And again, when we go back to the beginning of the stream and you start to look at the things that we watched on dominance, breaking down, right? The money flow, all that good stuff. Ethereum looking very strong. Like this, if there's a time for alt season, this is as close as we can get. I would say this: if the longer term thesis does not play out with us getting rate cuts, final stage of the bull market, alt season comes in, wrap it up, get ready for the next bull market. If we don't see that play out, we are expecting pretty much complete fake outs on the charts, which is possible, but definitely less probable. So there you go. Rip Dot, shout out to Dizzy Gang. Yeah, it is funny though. I mean, I do think, right, if we do get everything to push up again, we will very likely see some kind of massive move up, right? Everyone thought Dot was dead back here. We still got a massive, I'm not saying it's like the best altcoin gem to buy, but you still get that 200% move. So from a trading perspective, right, when things are undervalued and you have money flow coming up, still could be a nice move to the upside. And while we're sitting on the chart here on Dot, let's just say, tapping on that doorway to higher prices as you're getting the money flow crossover on the 2-day with a green dot. You also have a nice anchor wave, a nice trigger wave. And again, that money flow, as long as that can keep cooking into the green, it's a really early crossover. But if you can get that to sustain in the green like a lot of this other stuff, trend to the upside would continue. And again, what are we bouncing off of? This is your golden pocket, 786 from the low to the high. So if you're looking for that continuation up, low, high, higher low comes in on the golden pocket 786, and then you're looking for that higher high, and money flow does support that. But again, if you do have to get another correction to the downside, 786 is that last line in the sand. If you lose this 786, for sure, RIP Dot, I'd be looking down towards this daily at about 283. So quick sauce on Polkadot. Let's see. Shout out to Jesse, said, my favorite candle is Frankie Candles. Let's go. Shout out to Jesse, baby. I hope you're doing good, bro. I hope you're feeling better. And shout out to Captain Kirk. I saw you sent me a bunch of text messages. I will get to them. I had a very busy day. I had to give the puppy back. Oh, my God. But I will answer you, Cap. Don't worry. I'm not ignoring you. Never am I. I'm just very, very bad with my phone, to be quite honest. It's something I deal with getting criticized for my entire life. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Let's see. Can we take a look at APT again? Shout out to Brillo. Yes, I will try to take a look at that. We looked at it on the premium live stream, but I will try to get some of these other requests down. AVAX, yeah, actually, AVAX was getting requested a lot yesterday. We did not have a time to look at that. So I'll look at AVAX and APU next. Let's take a look at AVAX real quick. Real quick. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just kind of doing this to get my bearings here. Whoops. Okay, let's get this. So I'll keep this low volume gap between two high volume nodes. That's interesting to note. That is not a fib. This is not a fib. or it is a fib, but it's just not relevant. Okay, so you have an interesting profile here, right? Typically on a traditional volume profile, guys, more often than not, you will have like a bell curve in here, right? A capital D-shaped volume profile, right? Where your volume is low at the top, low at the bottom, and then peaks in the middle with the POC. It's typically what we see. Value area low, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the high. This is a pretty wonky volume profile. And the way I kind of treat these is when you have so many high volume nodes, right? Your real POC is down here at $21, right? You have another high volume node at $26 and another high volume node at $36. The way I would kind of treat this is just like they're kind of like three POCs. These are just like three gigantic magnets within the profile. Another way you could break this down is like a capital B shaped profile where you kind of have one profile up here and another profile down here. And you can even see that represented on price action, right? Like there's your one profile on this lower part of the B. Then you have another little profile on the upper side of the B. I won't get too into that. Maybe I'll make a video breaking down the different types of profiles. But, you know, when we look at it here, let's take a look. Let me see this volume profile pulled from the low to the high. You bounce off that 786 weekly MPOC, which was absolutely pinnacle to hold on AVAX, right? Because if you lost that 786, you're looking at crack structure to the downside, very bearish. But with money flow coming up like it was going to be a high probability for a higher low and a higher high, which you technically got here. So very nice, right? So you have the low, the higher low, technical higher high on the wick there. But at this point, if we can remain inside this profile, guys, 2-day money flow cross is in the green. 2-day green dot is looking to print. 3-day green dot is printing with your money flow cruising to the upside. I mean, when you look for a move to the upside, guys, this is what you want to see. Big red wave trending to the upside. This would indicate that the trend is going to continue to the upside. The green dot also printing here. I would say at this point, let me get rid of this because we've already bounced there. That's already tapped. Look at the weekly MPOC respect. I would say the big level to look at here would be bada boom. I would say POC. I'm going to drag this entire zone, right? So you have the POC, the golden pocket, the value area low, and the 786. So I would say, yeah, I would say like your big key level you don't want to lose here is going to be, yeah, I mean, this 786 here at about 1816, you don't want to lose that. If you lose that, well, you could be breaking these lows, which would be more bearish. But again, money flow headed in the right direction. I would say if you have to get another correction here, if you get a local high, a local low, a lower high, and a lower low, you really want to stay above that blue zone. This does sit between about 2094 and 1816. But at the end of the day here, you know, you're above the value area low. You flip the point of control. You got the rejection off the high volume node that we marked out a while ago. You're holding the POC as of right now. So if you flip this high volume node, I had this marked out before, pretty big volume gap here. You could see high volume node, high volume node. So once you break above this and you start impulsing, right, fast move down can also lead to a fast move up, targeting about 35.93. Fast move up, fast move down, fast move down, fast move up. Right, so this is for sure a low volume gap, and this is the opposite of high volume nodes. The high volume nodes are where price likes to stick to. You bing bong around, and then once you lose that high volume node, right through the gap, and where do you stop and cling to? Right on your next high volume node. These are the magnets in the profile. The high volume nodes are the magnets. So I would say break above that high volume node, flip it to support. You could get a fast move up towards about 35.50. Right, 35.91 is the high volume node. So that's what I would look at. And as far as money flow, right, you have your 3-day money flow crossing into the green or coming up towards the zero line. You have the 2-day money flow in the green. Let's check the 4-day. Again, the 4-day is just, again, the odd man out here. 4-day money flow looks horrific. But then the 5-day looks a lot better, right? 6-day looks even better with a crossover into the green. So, like, yeah, the 4 and 5-day money flow is like you have the 6-day money flow crossover into the green, but you never got the 4-day. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what happened there. Definitely not something you commonly see. But yeah, I would say, you know, as long as you stay within this profile, if you have to lose that value area low, you're praying for the bounce off the 786 at 1810. But for the most part, stay within the profile. Your next target is this high volume node. Flip that high volume node. Might be able to start the bigger move up towards about 35.93. So there you go. That's what I'd look at on AVAX. Let's see. Shout out to Relax Life. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He says, can you take a look at Sui? If you have time, appreciate your TA as always. I will mark down Sui here. I will try to get back to Sui in just a minute. We took a look at Dogecoin. We took a look at AVAX. Let's take a look at APU. APU or APU, as some people like to call it. I want to make sure I look at the right thing here. Is this what we're looking at? APU? It sounds like a meme that looks like a frog. This might be hard to do. Actually, no, not necessarily. APU. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to. Let me know. I don't want to look at the wrong thing. I don't want to spend a bunch of time marking up the wrong chart. Let me know which one you want to look at here. APU. These look like. Let's see here. Yeah, I assume this is a meme coin. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if this is this the right chart. Please let me know, and we will come back to it. Short stream is looking at another altcoin. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. Let's go. So many alts tonight. Yeah, shout out to AEW for life. Let's go. Not quite as many altcoins as we looked at yesterday. Yesterday was pretty wild. All right, let's take a look at SUI real quick. This is not our SUI chart. We got here it is. Okay, so let's take a look here. I can get rid of this. What is this? The heck is this? Hang on one second here. That is wrong. Oh, I was going to say, that's why that blue box didn't line up. Because this must have accidentally snapped randomly. Yeah, there we go. That makes more sense. All right. So I would say, so here's the thing, right? From a volume profile perspective, value area low, flip the low, right? Where's the next place for price to likely go? Right into the POC. Flip the POC. Where's the next likely place for price to go? Into the value area high. Now that we're rejecting the high, we've come to the POC. We've held that POC as support. I would say this is right now the biggest key level of support to hold. If you could hold above that POC at $3.46, you could potentially go for a bit of a breakout. But more often than not, let me see if you had any. Let me pull from the impulse. Yeah, so you had the golden pocket right on the POC from the impulse to the high. So I would say this is not the full Fibonacci retracement. There's no guarantee you have to come down to the full Fibonacci retracement. The reason I pull this is because it really gives you that line in the sand where you don't want to go below, right? So you have the golden pocket sitting here between about 313 and 302. If you have to continue down, this would be a level to pay attention to. I don't like it as much because you're right under the POC at that point. At that point, right, I would prefer, honestly, a drop down to, not saying it's higher probability, but I would personally prefer a drop down to the value area low 786 because at that point, it's like, hey, could you bounce here? Yes, but you got to get right back above the POC. And if you get stuck under the POC, you're probably going to the low anyway. So I would prefer, if you get a bigger retracement, to come down here. That way you can fill the entire profile, look for the long, and then you can just look for the journey back up through and then an eventual breakout. So I'd be more interested in either the low being here on the local golden pocket for a bigger breakout or just a bigger correction down towards the value area low. You have to understand that the golden pocket sits there between 313 and 302. I just don't really love that because of the situation there. You're already halfway through the to the value area low. You're below the POC, which is macro resistance, and it does have the magnetic power to push you down towards that value area low. So hopefully that makes sense. But nice to see you're holding the local golden pocket and the POC as of right now. And I would say even overall, if you had to go back for the golden pocket retest or the 786 retest, and this is not the low, you still have plenty of room here to put in a higher low and continue to the upside personally. So yeah, 2-day money flow still in the green, right? This looks the same as everything else. 3-day also green dot printing, money flow cruising to the upside as well. This looks pretty decent. 4-day, just on its own here, just like it's like the when you play baseball and you got that one outfielder kid that's just like sitting down picking dandelions. Like I don't know what the heck the 4-day is doing there. 5-day coming out, 6-day coming up, right? It was very interesting. And again, the reason, one more time, the reason I have you aware of potential pullbacks to come in is because of these red dots printing. But again, that does not step on the money flow. Weekly money flow coming up, red dot could print. So, you got to be careful of potential pullbacks, but that's why I have you guys prepared with these bigger levels of support. This would be very scary. Everybody would think it's all over. But what are we doing? We understand money flow is coming up. The low, the high, the higher low is more likely to continue the trend to the upside. There is SUI for you. And I don't even think this was not even our full SUI chart. This is... yeah, there's our full SUI chart. A little bit of a different context here. I don't want to confuse everybody with like a different context here. So I'll just leave you guys there. But again, like here's that local golden pocket from the impulse to the high. That's what we're holding. So I guess on this chart, I brought that other chart up to bring up a simpler perspective. But I guess we were looking at this on this chart. So nice to bounce there. You're back above the anchored VWAP. But again, if you come back down and lose this POC, I would really prefer the value area low. But if not, you could potentially look at that again, 315 to 303. I think this is like 315 to 303. Yeah, similar, very similar. So I don't want to confuse everybody. I would just look at this more simple kind of plan here. So lose the POC, you're looking to come down here. If you lose this, yikes, right? It's going to be a much more bearish scenario, in my opinion. So that's what I'd be looking at on SUI. Let's see here, bada boom. Like the stream. Shout out to Cyber Sorcerer. Smash that like button if you guys have not already. Let's see here. We got so much time to accumulate altcoins. Now they have to pump. Yeah, shout out to Calypso. Yeah, you would hope that these things would pump at some point. Please, for the love of God. Shout out to the moon. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says APU on MEXC. Whoops. APU on MEXC has the most history. That's the one I go off. Thanks in advance. You're a legend. Shout out to the moon. Let's see. Take a look at the MEXC chart. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So this is the one. All right. So let's take a look here. So I'm just going to mark off your macro volume profile. Bada boom. Man, I don't love that one. Dang, I just don't like the way. All right, so let me just pull this real quick. Let's see here. Whoops. All right, so this is not horrible. Pretty well respected. Deviation above the high. Back in. POC value area low. Beautiful support. Back to the POC. Flip it to support. Or flip it to support. Push in. Deviation. Cheap asset. I mean, expensive asset. Expensive asset. Cheap asset. Get back into the range. POC value area low. Cheap. Down here. Get back in, POC, get back in, POC, get back in, POC. All right, so this has been somewhat respected. I don't hate this volume profile. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. So I would say, personally for me, let's take a look at the 2-day real quick. 2-day money flow in the green. So this does look similar to a lot of other things. Let's see if the 4 days picking dandelions here. It's actually not. It's somewhat confluent with everything else. 5-day. Money flow crossing into the red with a red dot. So yeah, I mean, you're at resistance. You're at your POC. You have the weekly red dot. Could you continue down? Potentially. So let me give you those key levels of support to watch. Let's pull up the 2-day again. Let me just see something here. So yeah, if you were looking for that first rejection off the POC, the key level that you would want to hold for the higher low would have been this 786. Pulled from the low to the high. 786 would be a higher low for a potential higher high. But locally, well, I would still say, right, if you lose that 786 at 1510, I would be personally looking to take out these lows at 984. I will give you the local fib as well. But overall, right, you're inside your profile, right? You held the value area low, not impossible, or not unexpected to get turbulence at your POC. But I wouldn't really want to crack any lower than your local Fibonacci retracement. Yeah, value area low is really, again, with that key 786 right on the value area low. As long as you could stay in the value area low, right, the doorway to the POC is open, flip the POC, go to the value area high. But if I pull your local fib here, if you want to continue this local uptrend, which I don't know how likely that is based off the weekly red dot, let's check the daily. Yeah, daily money flow coming back out. 10-hour money flow coming out, 8-hour money flow coming out. Yeah, so I would still say the corrections are in the cards, guys. There's a reason I pull up the lower levels on Bitcoin. And if that does happen, if we get the bigger correction on Bitcoin, like these are probably going to take another dip. But I would say locally, the 786 would be a level you would want to hold for your local trend to continue to the upside. Flip the POC at 2637. That would open the door to potentially get the push up to your value area high. And you can see here, I wouldn't call it like the biggest volume gap, but you do have high volume node, and then your volume aggressively falls off here. So you do have a little bit of a low volume gap here, which you could see perfectly identified, right? Fast move down, fast move up, fast move down. If you break above this, could be a fast move up towards that value area high at 6027. Key level of support, I would say to keep it simple, you want to stay above this value area low. Because if you come back down and retest that 786 that we already bounced off of, you're probably going to lose it. It's not going to hold up a second time more often than not. So I would say if you do pull back, lowest I would like to go is, maybe a tiny deviation, but you really just want to hold that value area low. And then flip that POC, break into your low volume gap, which I would say the low volume gap pretty much starts here on this shelf of volume. I would say crack, not a wick. I would say crack about 3262. That's where you can see the fulfill or the fast move through the low volume gap into your value area high. And I would expect resistance at that value area high. Is it in confluence with your macro golden pocket 786? I would say it's probably pretty likely. And I was wrong. So there you go. Not really useful there. Probably pulled from the lower high to the low. There you go. There it is. So you could look at this. Still a significant Fibonacci retracement. So that'd be a big target to the upside. And then breaking that high volume node right here at 3262 could start the fast move up there. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at, baby. There is APU or APU. All right, let's see. Shout out to Crypto Max. He said, I think Nightbot is fixing to roll out. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. Let's see. The red and green. So the red and green dots, this indicator is called Market Cipher. If you want to check it out, you could use our link in the description down below or use discount code. I have a button here, MCFrank20. That is the wrong one. I got to wait for that to go away now. If you guys want to try Lux Algo, you can save some money as well. But Market Cipher, MCFrank20 will save you 15%. I learned that it is Tony D. We should get a new lower third because it is not 20%; it's 15% for some reason. So yeah, we should probably update that lower third. But full disclosure, if you use our discount code, it is 15%, not 20%. Let's see. Shout out to David. Said Frankie's still live streaming since yesterday. He's always on. Shout out to David. Yeah, we're gonna be the someone called this the weather channel of crypto. Maybe we should turn into that. Let's see. Good to see you, Frankie. Shout out to Pedro. Welcome in, Pedro23. Thank you for being here. Smash that like button if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, guys. We give these levels and this key analysis every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes we go live at 2 p.m. and run until 7:30 for 5 hours. It's pretty wild. Shout out to Bidfrog. Said 20% will save you 15%. Shout out to Wick 589. Said, can I pet that dog? Shout out to Wick 589. All right, let's see. Let's continue on CRV. We'll try to take a look at CRV. Subbed and liked. Shout out to Andrea. Let's go. Let's go. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's continue on. Are we going to stream for 24 hours now? I wish. I would have to probably prepare for a good Lord, guys. I need a haircut so bad. I'm looking homeless right now. Did someone say giveaways? Shout out to Tyler Durden. Yeah, we are. Oh my God, it's 7:23, guys. I am for some reason. I don't know what messed up my clock here, but I feel like we've been live for 20 minutes. At Tony D. Let me see if he answered me here because I do think we have a few. At Tony D. At Tony D. Hang on one sec. So funny. I'm like, oh, maybe he stepped away. I text him. Instant answer. Tony, so if you can hear me right now, just shoot me over what we're giving away. Or maybe Tyler, if you know, you can just drop it in the chat. Because I think we did hit a light goal today. I know we're giving away some Solana. We got some Solana, some Cardano, and I believe that's it. But wait for Tony's text to confirm. We have Solana and hats. Yeah, shout out to Tali. I agree with that. I think that is the case. Rigged! Shout out to Hollywood. But let's continue on here while they're figuring that out, guys. We will take a look. We took a look at APU. We took a look at SUI. We took a look at Doge. We took a look at Solana, Ethereum, AVAX. Let's take a look at CRV. Why not? Why not? Okay, yeah, so we actually looked at this in the premium before. Right now, your biggest key level on CRV is going to be the value area high, right? And the reason for this is because when we look at this from a higher time frame perspective, we are going to be, 2-day money flow crossover into the green, right? Happens right here, which means any pullbacks are going to be lackluster for higher lows and higher highs. Does that make sense? I say this all the time, but I hope that showing you this in real time shows you why we look at this, right? It's not just because I feel like we're going to put in a higher low. It's just that's what we see based off market cipher, right? So you have your low. Whoops. You have your low, and actually, this is pulled to there. So this actually was mismarked slightly. Not too much, but you have your low, you have your high. Money flow is in the green. That means that if we get a correction, we are looking for higher lows, low, higher low. This is low, this is higher. That is a higher low. Low, high, higher low, higher high for the break of structure to the upside. That is what you would look for. I don't know if we looked at curve back here, but if we did, that's what we were saying, 100%, because that is all I could say, right? Because that's what the TA says. I'm a slave to the TA, guys. I can't say it's going up, but the TA says it's going down, unless there's a very specific reason I'm looking for a fake out. But where's the higher low? Where does the higher low have to come in at if you want to put it in? Well, it's got to come in at that 786, and I'm not going to lie, guys. It got dicey down there. This is sketchy. But you did hold it, and you did get that higher high for the break of structure to the upside into your value area high. We broke out, and we are now retesting that value area high. Now, when we take a look at the higher time frames, your 6-day is looking for a red dot. Your weekly is looking for a red dot. But look at your money flow, my guys. Look at that. That's not bad. Weekly money flow crossover into the green would keep me looking for higher lows and higher highs, personally. If we lose the value area high, right, this is your key level. If you just want an aggressive breakout, you have to stay above that value area high, because if you break that back down below it, where's the next likely place for price to go? Probably the POC. Now, does this line up with Fibonacci retracements? Now that we've already tapped this, right, this is now off the chart and irrelevant. Maybe not irrelevant, but we could pull from this low to the high, and you do have confluence here on the golden pocket and the point of control. So 786 kind of floating in no man's land, to be quite honest. So unless you have some like significant MPOCs on this level, I wouldn't really. You do have a weekly MPOC, so that actually is nice to see. A very rare situation where I would put a lot of weight on that level just because it's floating in the middle of the profile. But in this case, you do have a weekly MPOC, so I will be looking at that as somewhat of a significant level. Let's check the monthly. That's pretty far away. I won't even mark that. And you have I'm just going to mark this out on the, these are very close, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab that and do weekly plus daily MPOC. It's pretty close. I'm not going to cluster them there. I'm just going to mark that off as one level. Yeah, you do have 2 daily MPOCs here as well. Daily MPOC, daily MPOC. And you have more down here as well. So I'll give you local levels and deeper levels as well. And I would get this off the chart. So I would say if you lose the value area high, higher time frame, right, longer term, you'll have some of these daily MPOCs. But if you break back down below this, it could mean that you're on your way to your POC, right, which is confluent with your key golden pocket, which is another place to do what? Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This is a huge level to watch. Hopefully I'm breaking this down simple enough for everybody, right? 66 to 60 cents. That is a huge level. It doesn't mean that you have to come down there. An intermediary, if we're not going to make it all the way down to that POC, one thing I could tell you, if you lose this value area high, you're definitely coming somewhat deeper, right? It does open up the door to the POC where you have key support, and it's a beautiful place to put in a higher low and a higher high. But I will say this as well. Your anchored VWAP from the low here could cook to the upside, either being confluent with this daily MPOC or this daily MPOC. So if you did come in, I can't really say. I don't know exactly how high it will come up. If you come here and that anchored VWAP is confluent with this level, this would be the stronger level. But if we come down there and this anchored VWAP is sitting up there, this would be the bigger key level, right? So wherever you have that confluence on the anchored VWAP would be the bigger level. Biggest level still sits here, POC golden pocket though. So this is some of the levels that I would look at. Again, biggest level, if you come back down below that value area low and push down towards the POC, 66 to 60 cents, absolutely key level to hold. Let me pull. Oh, come on, give me the confluence, baby. Give me the confluence. So what I will mark out here is your local golden pocket, daily MPOC, anchored VWAP. If the anchored VWAP comes confluent with that, I would like that level as well. So I don't want to say don't pay attention to this level. You know, at the end of the day, could you bounce there? Sure. But I would say the confluent levels are sitting between 74 to 71 cents. Lose that. I'm looking to come down here where you have the golden pocket, the POC, and the 786 of this local fib pull. So you have confluence in both of these zones. So if you do get accepted below the value area high, honorable mention, daily MPOC at 79 cents. But at the end of the day, I'd be much more focused on this level and this level. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on curve. Let's see. Squeeze those little bears. They need a hug. Let's go. Everybody hug the bears. And if you want to squeeze a little extra tight, that would, oh, stream is mad behind. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So I'll just pick the giveaways because I think we did hit a light goal. So it's going to be, we'll do 10 Cardano giveaways, smaller bags. We'll do $500 in Solana, and we'll do 3 Frankie Candles hats. Because, yeah, if I remember correctly, yesterday on the 5-hour stream, I think maybe we hit 1,000 likes. And I want to say that I said if we hit 550, we'll give away $200 in Solana. And if we hit 1,000, I think we said $500 in Solana. So we'll just do that. $500 in Solana. We'll do 3 hats, and we'll do 10 Cardano giveaways. So there we go. So smash that like button for free money, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Chris L. Said, Frankie, did you get... I love when people pop the Frankie Candles picture up there, bro. Frankie, did you get the... or Frankie Candles face, did you get the Solana Seeker phone? I did not. 790 likes yesterday. We did something. That's generous AF. Shout out to Wix Wi-Fi 89. Let's effing go. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. I need a hat. Dang, that's generous. Smash those likes. Yeah, I think yeah, or I might have just like trapped myself into giving away $500 if we didn't hit the goal. But that's okay, guys. That's okay. We'll give away $500 in Solana. I love the Mafia so much, guys. I don't mind doing it. I love giving back to you guys as much as we possibly can. You know, I appreciate you guys showing up and smashing that like button as much as you do. I could have sworn maybe it wasn't last night's live stream. Maybe it was another live stream. I'm pretty sure we hit a goal. I could be tripping, but hey. If that's my mistake, I got to pay for my mistakes then. And in this case, it's going to cost me $500 in Solana. So, all right, let's continue on. Yeah, Crypto Knight said, you're stuck now, bro. Yeah, can't take it back now. But no, I genuinely do think we hit some kind of goal. I don't remember exactly what it was because I kind of like, I changed it. I was like, if we hit 550, I'll give away $200 in Solana. And then I was like, maybe if we could rip it to something, I'll up it. But there we go. Who cares? We'll do it, baby. We'll give away the money. I wish I had my money on my desk right now because I'd throw it for you guys. But with all that being said, guys, it's 7:33. Let's start running those giveaways. Oh, wow. Okay. Shout out to Tony D. 8 winners. So there you go, guys. He just dropped those winners. They are pinned to the top of the chat. We got Cardano winners. Setman1, Wix Wi-Fi 89. Let's go. Some Cardano. We got Nina. We got Giga Longbottom. Nick Dunn. Satoshi Stacker. Let's go. We got OGs in here. Blake. EK, I don't know how to say the first part of your name. We got May, Jonah, Jason Chua, and then we got 3 hat giveaway winners. This is actually one of my least favorite colorways, guys. Look at that hair reveal, guys. Hair reveal. It's actually not that bad for hat hair. But we got 3 Frankie Candles hats. We got Cryptic Crabman. Let's go. Shout out to Cryptic Crabman. Congratulations, bro. You deserve a Frankie Candles hat. You've been here for quite some time. We got Zicky and Garlic Bread Overlord. Yo, shout out to Garlic Bread Overlord. That's a fire name, bro. And then I guess we have 1 winner for $500 in Solana, which may be a made-up. Yeah, Tony, let's just do. Screw it. Let's just do 5. Maybe we didn't hit a like goal. I might have been hallucinating. I might have been wishful thinking, but screw it. We love the Mafia. Let's give away $500 in Solana. So yeah, let's do 1 winner for $500 in Solana. And yeah, we will await your announcement. I'm kidding. I'll say something, guys. I'm actually going to sit here in silence. I'll hang out with chat a little bit. Yo, shout out to Wick 589 said, Wifey will waste the ADA by not swapping it to XRP. Shout out to Wick 589. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yes, Soul, please. Come on, baby. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Yo, somebody threw the Candle Mafia's John Cena throwing the Italian bread in the chat. Let's go. I haven't had good Italian bread in so long. Come on, baby. Who's it gonna be? I think Tony's got to do some we got to give him a second to do the Nightbot stuff. Yo, shout out to Cryptic Crabman, said crying and pooping my pants. Come on, baby, $500. Who's it gonna be? Let's drop some bing bongs. Bing bong, bing bong. Just sit here for 5 minutes screaming bing bong. Oh man, if somebody ever compiled all of the times I said bing bong, that would be brutal. That would be absolutely brutal. All right, let's see. I absolutely love the all black Candle Mafia hat. Shout out to Satoshi Stacker. Let's go. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite used to be the it was like the Carhartt brown one. But I'm not gonna lie, I brought a couple different colors on that bachelor party I went to a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, whatever it was. And I was rocking that black one. That black one is fire. It's simple. It matches everything. It's nice. And when it comes to me, I need all the help I can get matching. I constantly come out of my closet. I walk out of the closet, and Mrs. Candles is like, turn around. You can't wear that. And I'm like, what? It's black and black. It matches. She goes, you can't wear all black. You look like you're going to a funeral. And I'm like, but it matches. She goes, it doesn't match. From a binary perspective, black matches black. Am I right? Maybe it doesn't look good, but it matches, guys. I'm not a big matcher. Mrs. Candles always roasts me for that. She's like, yes, it matches. Or if I wear all white, she's like, you can't wear that. You look at the ice cream man. And I'm like, but it matches. She's like, you just don't get it. Love an FC hat. Let's go. Shout out to Alvin. If you guys want to buy an FC hat, if you don't want to wait for the giveaways, we do have them on FrankieCandlesTrading.com. You can check them out. We have all different colors, and they are very reasonably priced. We basically break even on those hats. They're really just for the Mafia. But we do give away a ton of them as well if you don't want to buy them. Let's see. Tony D's hacking the mainframe. There's numbers flying around, usernames. I only wear black. I learned it from Johnny Cash. Shout out to Giga Longbottom. Actually, hilariously enough, guys. I mean, when I say something, I mean it, guys. I didn't even realize this was the case, but I'm literally wearing all black. Mrs. Candles. I'm going to walk into Mrs. Candles. You're going to be like, dude, change your pants. You look ridiculous. But yeah, I usually wear very, very, very simple colors. Shout out to Tony D. Said Mrs. Candles is wrong. She wears those weird socks. Can't trust her. Yeah, have you guys ever seen the weird socks that girls wear? It's like it hooks on to just on their big toe and then barely hooks onto their heel. I'd be having a panic attack all day. I don't know how those socks don't fall off 10 times a day. Those are weird. Shout out to Wix Wi-Fi 89. Maybe you know. Any of our Candle Mafia friends, female Candle Mafia friends, those weird socks you guys wear that just hook on the heel, hook on the toe. It's doesn't cover any of your foot. That freaks me out. I would be having a panic attack. It would be giving me sensory issues. Big love to everyone here. I never expected to be the winner. Shout out to Rafa. Shout out to you, man. Well, welcome. We are the Candle Mafia, and we give away as much as we possibly can. And we love you, and we are all about community here and positivity. Unless Bitcoin's dumping, then we're pissed and we're all negative. Also Solana winner posted. Rafa, let's go. Shout out to Rafa. You're getting $500 in Solana, brother. Let's go. Do not get scammed. We will never ask you. Just be careful if someone, there might be a lurker in here that might try to DM you or something. I don't know. Just be careful. We're never going to ask you for a seed phrase. We're never going to ask you for money. The only thing we will ask is a place to send the money for you. So be careful out there. But you did win $500 in Solana, and it may or may not have been a legitimate giveaway. I don't even know, but I'm happy to give back to the Mafia. But guys, with all that being said, smash that like button on your way out. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Congratulations to the ADA winners, Solana winners, and the Solana winners, and the hat winners. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully this TA helps you out. We'll keep an eye on Bitcoin. You guys now have the big key levels of support. If you're just tuning in for the first time, scrub back to the beginning of the stream to get my full thoughts on Bitcoin, and then we run through the alts. You can stick around to watch those as well. If you guys are looking to sign up for anything, our affiliate links are in the description down below. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Super fun 5-hour stream. Great week. We crushed a bunch of longs, even an accidental long I didn't know I was in. But I appreciate you guys. Awesome week. Have a great weekend. Go touch some grass, and the charts will be here when you get back. If anything crazy happens, I'll update you guys with a market update or something like that. But with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's video, That's all the time I got for today's live stream. My brain is fried. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Hasta pasta! Frankie Candles out.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to Jets. Said almost 7 a.m. here in Thailand. Shout out to Thailand. Let's go. Shout out to Jets. That's commitment. I don't know if you stayed up till 7 a.m. to watch the stream or if you got up super early to watch the stream, but we appreciate you, bro. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Who knows? Maybe we'll go different time. Maybe we'll go live at 1 and stay live until 8. Who knows? But I'll see you guys later. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road.